Today, in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today's topic is not only current, but it is very, very interesting. The topic is cricket, India versus England. As you all know that India is currently playing a 4th test in England, and that too in Oval. And today is the final day, and the chances are almost that either India will win or it might be a draw. But to discuss this very important series which India is playing in England, although right now it is in a draw condition, means the level condition series, because first test was draw, the second and India won, and the third it was England who. So now the 4th test is in a crucial stage. That is the last day today. So it will be, we will come to know Indian Standard Time by the evening, because they are 4.5 hours behind us. Now, so today's topic is cricket, India versus England. I would like to give some quotes of our great cricketers. First quote is, "If it is difficult, I will do it now. If it is impossible, I will do it presently," said Sir Don Bradman. "You don't play for revenge. You play for respect and pride," said Rahul Dravid. "When people throw stones at you, you turn them into milestones," Sachin Tendulkar. "Every morning I woke up, I believed that I could score runs for India," said Sourav Ganguly, the present president of BCCI. "You don't play for the crowd, you play for the country," MS Dhoni. And last, "The joy of doing well as a batsman for your country is much more than that little joy of going for a party and enjoy music. It is a completely different high, and I get high by performances. That is what I enjoy now," said our present captain Virat Kohli. And as you all know that we already have one legendary cricketer with us, so I have not given any quote, because he is going to, whatsoever he will say, he is going to say, and we will hear his quotes from his mouth only. The England cricket team represents England and Wales in international cricket. Since 1997, it has been governed by the England and Wales Cricket Board, ECB, having been previously governed by Maryland Board Cricket Club, the MCC, since 1903. England, as a founding nation, is a full member of the International Cricket Council, ICC, with Test, One-Day International, ODI, and 2020 International, T20 International status. Until the 1990s, Scottish and Irish players also played for England, as those countries were not yet ICC members in their own right. England and Australia were the first teams to play a test match from 15th to 19th March 1877, and along with South Africa, these nations formed the Imperial Cricket Conference, the predecessors to today's International Cricket Council, on 15th June 1909. England and Australia also played the first ODI on 5th January 1971. England's first T20 International was played on 13th June 2005, once more against Australia. The England cricket team represents England and Wales. However, under ICC regulations, players can qualify to play for a country by nationality, place of birth, or residence. So some people who are eligible to play for more than one team. ECB regulations state that to play for England, a player must be a British citizen and have either been born in England or Wales, or have lived in England or Wales for 3 years. This has led to players who also had other nationalities becoming eligible to play for England. The qualification period for those born outside England and Wales has varied in the past, but in November 2018, the ECB announced that the period would be reduced to 3 years in all circumstances in line with ICC regulations. The India men's national cricket team, also known as Team India, and Men in Blue, is governed by the Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI, and is a full member of the
मीटिंग ही जाएगा मीटिंग ही जाएगा मैं 2 घंटे बाद फ्री होऊंगा आई मीन मीटिंग इंटरव्यू चल
रहा But in November 2018, the ECB announced that the period would be reduced to 3 years in all circumstances in line with ICC regulations. The India men's national cricket team, also known as Team India and Men in Blue, is governed by the Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI, and is a full member of the International Cricket Council, ICC, with Test, One-Day International ODI, and 2020 International T20 International status. Cricket was introduced to India by British sailors in the 18th century, and the first cricket club was established in 1792. India's national cricket team did not play its first test match until 25th June 1932 at Lord's, becoming the 6th team to be granted test cricket status. From 1932, India had to wait until 1952, almost 20 years, for its first test victory. In its first 50 years of international cricket, India was one of the weaker teams, winning only 35 of first 196 test matches it played. The team, however, gained strength in the 1970s with the emergence of players such as batsmen Gavaskar, Vishnath, Kapil Dev, even our legendary player Surendra Khanna ji, and the Indian spin quartet. Traditionally much stronger at home than abroad, the Indian team has improved its overseas form, especially in limited overs cricket, since the start of 21st century, winning test matches in Australia, England, and South Africa. It has won the Cricket World Cups twice in 1983 under the captaincy of Kapil Dev and 2011 under the captaincy of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. After winning the 2011 World Cup, India became only the third team after West Indies and Australia to have won the World Cup more than once, and the first cricket team to win World Cup at home. It also, and in this year, the India could not win, although India reached to the final in the World Cup. But because of the COVID and because it was played in England only, India lost that match. It also won the 2007 ICC World 2020 and 2013 ICC Champions Trophy under the captaincy of MS Dhoni. It was also the joint champions of 2002 ICC Champions Trophy along with Sri Lanka. The Indian cricket team has rivalries with other test-playing nations like Australia's the Indian cricket team has rivalries with other test-playing nations, most notably with Pakistan, the political rival of India. However, in recent times, rivalries with nations like Australia, South Africa, and England have also gained prominence. The Pataudi Trophy is awarded to the winner of each test cricket series between England and India contested in England. The trophy itself was designed and made by Jocelyn Burton. It was first awarded in 2007 to commemorate the 75th years since the first test match between the two sides. India won the first Pataudi Trophy in England in 2007, but England currently hold the trophy, having won each of the last 3 series. Now, in this current series, the first match was played between County Select 11 versus Indians on July 20th. That was a 3-day warm-up match at Riverside Ground, Chesterley Street, and the result was match was drawn. Then the first test at Trents Bridge, Nottingham on August 4th, and the result was match was drawn. Then the second test at Lord's, London, on August 12th. I was there, but I could not go because I was under home quarantine. I have a chance to go, but I could not. So I missed to see this match. Very interesting match. India won by 151 runs. Then the third test at Headingley Leeds, which was played from August 25th, and England won by an inning and 76 runs. And the fourth test, which is currently going on from September 2nd at Kingston Oval, London. Today, the condition is the England needs 291 runs to win the match. India needs 10 wickets to win the match. Otherwise, the result will draw. So we will come to know by two. And the final test will be played at Emirates Old Trafford, Manchester on September 10th, which will start from September 10th. So now to discuss today, it's a very, very important point, that is cricket India versus England. We have a very, very learned and very intelligent, very experienced panelist with us, and especially my first panelist, who was a legendary himself, Mr. Surinder Khanna. Mr. Surinder Khanna is the former member of the Indian Premier League IPL Governing Council. He is the former Indian cricket player. When the selectors decided to drop Syed Kirmani for the tour of England in 1979, Mr. Khanna was given the big break. He was the designated wicketkeeper for India in 1979 World Cup. He played in all the 3 World Cup games. He was in the Indian team for the 1984 Asia Cup held at Sharjah. He scored half centuries in low scoring encounters against Sri Lanka and Pakistan. India won the tournament and Mr. Khanna was named man of the series. He was a member of the Indian team that went to Pakistan in October the same year. Between 1991 and 92, in Scotland, Edinburgh, he played as a professional cricketer for Crosstrofen Cricket Club and Stewart's Melville Cricket Club. During the 1991 season, he scored 1,098 runs at an average of 91.5. Nowadays, he is a cricketing expert of All India Radio, Doordarshan, and of course, of Media Conference with Lal Goel. Welcome, Surinder Khanna ji, on our show. Mr. Khanna.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Khanna, you are a legendary figure in the cricket. And you have seen the cricket very, very closely. I am talking of the cricket game. I know you have seen the cricket politics also very closely. But today, our topic is cricket India versus England. And you have played in England. You have seen England weather. You have seen England pitches very, very closely. We would like to know your views about today's match, which is going to start after some time, as well as on your views on the entire series, what you feel about this entire series. Cricket India versus England. Mr. Surinder Khanna, please.
Well, Lal Sahab, thank you very much for having me on your show. And good morning to Wing Commander and our journalist friend and all the listeners and viewers. It's a very good morning in India. And if it's evening or night or abroad, likewise. Well, India and England, we go a long way because Britishers gave majority of the countries all over the world the game of cricket. It's a wonderful game. And initially it was played for passion. Cricketers played for the country. There was less money. And how the cricket board managed to put a team and get finances, the industrialists, the administrators needs to be complimented. After 83, when India won the World Cup in England under Kapil Dev, the game of cricket, the finances, economics started changing. Then came the one days, Carry Packer, and then came the T20. And the T20, IPL, and now all the Big Bash and game of 100 balls in England. The economics I currently feel is running the game. So in our days, you gave a lot of quotes of legends like Don Bradman and many greats. My quote has always been, hard work, hard work, hard work. In any field you do with a lot of passion, because hard work never goes unrewarded. Sometimes the rewards come very early, but if you persist, if it's your passion and you do it with the heart and soul, results are bound to come. And nowadays, we find that certain cricketers who are doing well in the shorter duration of the sport, that is T20s, from those performances, they get picked in the test matches. All over the world, I'm noticing the batting part, if I take, uh, I don't know many agree with me or not, but what I personally feel, whatever little experience or cricket I know, that the technical aspect of cricket batting, even if in the Indian team we see in this series in particular, I think this is the fourth test match, and three times England won the toss and they put India into bat. In the English conditions where the ball seams, and the T20 and one day impact which it has on Indian batting, our batsmen are used to playing on placid pitches and playing strokes right from the word go. And they play too far away from their body. They don't know where the off stump is. In England, the ball seams. If the same batting goes to Australia, South Africa, West Indies, they can still manage. But in New Zealand and England, you have to play on the back foot, you have to play close to the body, you have to play it late. Sight the ball, pick the ball early, and play it late. That's the technical flaw which I'm noticing. So whenever there is spin, turn, or swing, you'll find the Indian batsman struggling, be it Kohli, be it anybody. The technical aspect is very poor. I don't know what the batting coach and the chief coach. I don't blame Ravi because he's down with COVID, and I hope this last 1.5, 2 years have been really bad for the entire world and for the cricket team as well. They have to be in the bio bubble. They haven't been able to play that many games, and the practice under bio bubble and the circumstances, it's for all the teams, not only for India, have been very, very difficult. So for this pandemic period, don't want to sound very critical, but overall, the technical aspect is very poor. Our bowling, if we see all over the world, with the shorter duration, the bowlers get hell of a lot of economics in terms of financial compensation in T20s for just bowling 4 overs. They bowl 2 overs in the first spell, two in the second spell, and just 1.25 hour, सवा घंटा कि आपको अगर पैसे मिल रहे हैं लाल साहब, I think at 65 I would like to play as well if the selectors consider me. And the rewards are phenomenal. When you play test match cricket, days cricket, it's 90 overs every day. When your body and mind gets tuned up for 1 hour, 15 minutes, and as a bowler, just 4 overs, uh, somehow the professional aspect goes away from our human nature, and we start thinking in terms of just bowling 4 overs. Like we have lost Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who should have been in England because he is a fantastic swing bowler, but most of the time I find him in NCA or on the unfit line, because in IPL they get 8 crores, 10 crores for bowling just 4 overs, and very less amount on the field, and the rewards being phenomenal. Same in batting, in the limited overs. Either you hit the ball or you get out. Nobody's there to question you. If you hit 10 boundaries, you score a quick 50. Your next contract is with one of the teams, you hit a quick fire 50. But test matches is the real test of skill, temperament, technique, and many other aspects. In batting, the staying power at the crease. The runs will come. You have to stay there. You got to have the temperament. You got to have the footwork, the technique. Pick the ball early, play it late, and get the bad ball, punish it. That's the uh, school I grew up in. That punish the bad ball was the mantra of scoring big runs and play along the ground. But now in T20 and one days, our batsmen play too many shots in the air. Like you must have seen the wicketkeeper, Rishabh Pant. He is a fantastic player. But in this innings, I think somebody must have told him, "You're getting this chance, otherwise, next game you will sit out." So, with Jadeja being promoted to five, he probably got the message and he played. He played himself in, and that's the kind of batting we want to see from him in Test matches. And when once you are set as a batsman, you're seeing the ball as a football, then you can play your strokes, hit over the top, whatever you feel like when you are really settled in. And as the match stands today, uh, England started off very well after fielding for so long. I must give credit to their openers. Burns doesn't look technically too good, but he survived. They are 77 for no loss. The first session for Indian bowlers will be very crucial, and they need to pick up one or two wickets. I'm sure Kohli is experienced enough to put a field where the England batsmen don't get runs too easily. And at lunch, probably from England perspective, we need to pick up one or two wickets, three wickets. From Indian perspective, from England perspective, they would like to see graph their runs, get 40, 50. At lunch, they will plan where they are. And then in the next session, breaking the sessions into 1 hour lunch, 2 hours, then lunch to tea, and where they stand. And then in the last 30, 40 overs, if they require 80 odd runs, then they can play like T20 or one day and reach the target of 291. Because since the advent of one day and now T20, England players are playing 100 balls, which is lesser than T20. So these cricketers are experienced enough to score quick runs, and with the oval wicket being a beauty, I must compliment the groundsman at Oval. I remember when 79 we were touring and Sunny Bhai had not had a big score in the series. At Oval, first innings he got out, Ron Kanai was there, and Sunny Bhai was tense. And I remember telling Sunny Bhai before the test match that you'll get a big double hundred here. And that was an intuition. And Sunny remembers that. And he got 220 in that. We lost that test narrowly. We had certain bad decisions as well. But oval wicket has, over the years, been very good. I remember Viv Richards getting 291 over there for West Indies against England. And Gordon Greenidge and all these top stroke makers of the world, even uh, many from other countries, Ricky Ponting or our stroke players as well, they enjoy playing there. David Garr got a double hundred against India. So they play, the ball comes onto the bat and you like to time it, though it's a huge boundary, big boundary, but the ball travels. So I feel the test is nicely poised. A draw which was not there in the first 3 days. Now we have a situation where either India can win, very bleak chances of England winning, but cricket is a glorious game of uncertainty. And I'm sure Joe Root, the kind of form and technically so beautifully, he and Williamson, two batsmen in the world who are technically so correct to bat in these conditions. And Joe Root has shown he's got 300, big hundreds in this series so far. In the first innings only, he got out for 22, but England managed 270, 280 without him. So let's not take them lightly. It's nicely poised, and this is what test match we want to see. We have nearly 20,000 people at the ground every day. That's great for the game of test match cricket. And Lal Sahab, I'm sure I would like as an Indian, India to win and be ahead in the series.
Thank you very much, Khanna ji, for giving your views. And I would like to inform, before I will summarize what he said, I would like to inform our viewers, Mr. Khanna is enjoying the respect and honor across the country, across the world. Recently, he was honored by the Chief Minister of Bihar when he visited there, and they have given so much honor to him. So that type of respect, because he never believes to do any hanky panky in the
Lal
game
Sahib,
of
it was
cricket.
really great on the part of Nitish Kumar ji. I mean, I played cricket when he was in college as well. And I remember him from the Jayaprakash movement when he, along with Arun Jaitley ji and many others, went into that. That was one of the historic movements in Indian history. And he remembered, and he is an engineer by profession, and he's doing great job. And it was an honor to meet him. And he gave us nearly an hour from his busy schedule. It was really दिल की गहराइयों से कई बारी इस उम्र में भी खुशी होती है. मैं भी इंसान हूँ और ऐसे मौके जिंदगी में कम आते हैं और वो भी बिहार में जाके वो इज्जत मिलनी, it was really heartening, you know.
Yes, Khannaji, but I will say, yes, Nitish Kumarji is no doubt is a gem of person, but it all depends whom he is honoring and who for whom he is giving time. It was because of
I've
you.
been doing Lal Sahab, I must tell you and all the viewers, पिछले 6-7 साल से आदित्य वर्मा मेरे छोटे भाई की तरह ही, like my younger brother. जैसे एक I've got a relationship with you and with Commander. He has been fighting for the betterment of cricket. So last 6-7 years I've been touring and I've been coaching the young kids, poor kids, and in Gujarat as well as in Bihar. There is immense talent. I tell you, so much talent. I wish the selectors, administrators are honest. I'll only use one small line. They should be honest. Like in our times, I had honest administrators and selectors. That's how a son of a refugee could get selected and represent the country and win the Asia Cup, help India win the Asia Cup. So we need honest administrators, selectors, and real talent is there. They can do wonders. We are seeing in Paralympics how many gold medals we are winning, despite the hardships which they go through in their day-to-day life, and in other sports as well. In cricket, particular, which is a religion in our country, we have immense talent in these regions. Where I go, I've been going. I work silently, but this time it was an occasion which got publicized, and I otherwise let your work speak. I believe in that.
Yes, thank you, Khanna ji. And what Mr. Khanna has mentioned, a very, very important point. He says that technically, if we want to assess our team, technically aspect is missing, and we are technically weak because our team is now set for shorter version of the game, that is T20 or one day international, and that's why they are playing in the front foot, although they should play back foot, especially when they are playing in England, and they should play with close to the body. But what they are doing is not. That's why in the first inning, the score is very less in almost all the innings which they played. And what he says is because in players are getting in the T20 that much money because of the IPL, that they too get money for 4 overs in a match, so much money. And while here are 90 overs and you have to play, throw at least 20 or odd overs, it's not easy. And to do the fielding now for at least 2-3 days. So according to him, that is the problem. Earlier, it was a temperament.
Lal Sahib, 1 second.
Yes,
I'll
please.
interrupt you. You and I, when we talk about them getting money, huge amounts, and I have no issues with that. As long as you perform every day as well as a professional.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
If you're getting good money for your, then in 4 overs, you should pick up 2 wickets and win the match, or just give 15, 20 runs only in 4 overs. Or as a batsman, you get 20 crores or 50 crores, I have no issues. But then you get runs like Joe Root, the way he is scoring,
Yes, yes. And he mentioned very clearly, he says that Joe Root should not be taken lightly because he has to play today. He has not yet done his batting. So and according to him, today's match is evenly poised, but the chances for winning India is far more. Bleak chances, the England can also win, but otherwise it will be draw. And he says it will be decided in the first session what is going to happen, because if India will get some wickets in the first session, then definitely India will have more pressure on them. Otherwise, if we not, then they may decide because England team playing in their own home pitch, then it will be a difficult task. But according to him, being an Indian, he says, I want the India should win. I think all the Indians want that India should win. So let's see what is going to happen. Thank you very much, Mr. Khanna, for giving your very
Pleasure.
technical opinion and real honest views, which we wanted actually, that your real views and honest views should come. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he is Wing Commander Arjit Ghosh, retired. Wing Commander Arjit Ghosh is the former Ranji Trophy cricketer. He served in the Indian Air Force for 24 years. He commanded 4 Air Force units, holding sensitive appointments at top of the line fighter bases close to the Indian border, both in the Northeast and in the Western Desert. He is a qualified coach from the BCCI National Cricket Academy. He was BCCI match referee for domestic matches. He is former secretary, Air Force Sports Board. He was closely associated with the conduct of elite sports events like the Military World Games and Commonwealth Games as chief of mission of Indian Armed Forces sports contingents at Military World Championships overseas. He was the Asian representative on jury of appeal drawn from the 4 continents at Military World Championships. He was the chief operating officer of one of the biggest and best boarding schools of the country, where he also headed an academy of sporting excellence for young children with 35 trained sports coaches, including foreign coaches. His achievements are: he played 5 sessions of Ranji Trophy between 1987-88 and 94-95, one amongst a handful of brothers who hold an international record of having scored hundreds together in the same innings of a first-class match. He captained the Indian Air Force cricket team. He represented the East Zone University's team in the Vizzy. Welcome, Wing Commander Arjit Ghosh, on our show. Wing Commander, you have heard what legendary Surinder Khanna ji has spoken, and he has given his views very honestly, very frankly. We would like to know your views on cricket, India versus England. Wing Commander Arjit Ghosh, please.
Thank you, Lal Saab. It's again a pleasure to be back on your show. And every time I wish, my introduction would not take so long. I keep telling you that I would send you a shortened version, but somehow that's not happened. But anyway, I mean, it's a pleasure to be back again. And good morning, Khanna sir. Good morning, Grant. Good morning, Mr. Lakshman. Pleasure to be on the same panel as you, and an honor to be on the same panel as you. We are on the 5th day of the 4th test in England, and this is a series which has been touted as a revenge series for India. We've not won a test series in India since 2007, which is 14 years ago. And if you see, we are amongst the top 2 teams of the world right now, having qualified for the World Test Championship final, which we lost. But we've definitely done extremely well over the past 2-3 years as a test playing nation. And I'm sure this team has carved a niche for itself in the history of Indian cricket, having won the kind of matches that they have overseas and come back from very difficult situations and done well. So the expectations are huge on this team. And somehow I sometimes feel that the kind of potential that we have, today in India, in terms of cricketing talent, we are able to field 2 or maybe even 3 teams which can play international cricket, at the top level and do well. And that's what we've recently shown, where the kind of performances that we've had with different teams, different formats of cricket, or T20 cricket or 50 overs cricket, and now test cricket. So what sometimes bothers me about this team is that, given the depth of talent, given the depth of the records that most of our batsmen have in this team, the sudden collapses that we have suddenly, and they've been happening too often for my my liking over the past 1.5-2 years. And that's something which is disturbing, and that's something which I really don't understand as to why it happens. And maybe there's a clue in it from what Khanna sir said, that many of these players, by virtue of playing on featherbed wickets, on flat wickets, where the ball is not moving, where the atmosphere, the conditions are easy. The sun is shining, the wicket is flat, the it's hot, the bowlers are tiring. It's easy to bat and score runs in those conditions. Suddenly, when that same batsman is put in a condition where the ball is moving around like a boomerang, as often happens in England and New Zealand as well, they're quite uncomfortable. And to add to that is the effect of playing the shortened version of cricket, the white ball variety of T20s and the 50 over matches, where, as Khanna said, all that you need to do is to bat for maybe 4 overs or 5 overs and get a quick 30 or a 40, and you're set. And if you're a bowler, it's the other way around. You need to bowl 4 overs in 2 spells. So that commitment of batting for long periods, of concentrating for long periods, of being determined, fighting it out when the conditions are not good, when the ball is moving around, when you don't know what the next ball is going to do, however long you bat it. I mean, that's one thing which I would like to bring out here. That when you're playing in these kind of conditions where the ball is moving and the wicket is offering assistance to the bowlers, you are never really in. You're never really set, in the sense you may be batting on 50, you may be batting on 60, you may be batting on maybe 120, but you never know what the next ball is going to do. And therefore, you cannot let up on your concentration, or you cannot let up on your determination level to stay in at the wicket. And that is probably one of the things which has been missing in this team. And that's probably, to my mind, I may be wrong, that's probably one of the reasons why we've suffered these spectacular collapses, where we've collapsed to 36 all out or 78 all out, or these small totals, which, given the depth of talent that we have today, I really fail to understand why it should happen. And once in a while, yes, of course, it can happen to anyone, but then it's been happening a little too often for my liking. Uh, so that's something that we need to overcome as a team if we are going to be taken seriously as a world beater, as the number one team in the world, or the top two teams in the world as things stand, because we lost the final to New Zealand, which again was a result of a batting collapse in the second innings, which we had no business to suffer. Uh, uh, the majority of the match had been washed out, and we just needed to play out time, and we would have enjoyed winners. But then that didn't happen because we suffered one of our spectacular collapses in the second innings. So again, that's something which this team needs to overcome, and I'm sure things will fall into place sooner or later, because the problem is that we are not playing enough of the red ball cricket variety. We are not playing enough long matches. If you look at at this tour itself, we landed in England uh, for the World Test Championship final. We played that test match, and then there was a gap of almost 40 days when we were doing nothing. The entire team was there in England for 40 days without playing a single match other than that match which you mentioned, that County Select 11 match, uh, which is amazing. And I know it's COVID times. I know it's difficult to get games. Uh, the only kind of games that you play nowadays on tours is within the team, those intra squad games. But even then, so the problem with that is, and the other thing is the scheduling of the cricket. It's amazing. There's a major test series going on in England at this point of time, and they don't have a single red ball cricket happening, with a cricket match happening at this time. It's all white ball cricket. So what that means effectively is that if you're out of form, like a lot of batsmen are out of form, whether in the England side or in the Indian team as well, you just don't have a place to go back to and to work out the problems that you have, to get your confidence back, to get some time in the middle to hit a few balls and score a few runs in a county game or whatever. That's not happening because there are no county games which are happening at this point of time. So I mean, it's hitting both the teams. It's hitting the England side as well as the Indian side. So the batsmen who are struggling, they don't have a place to go back, or even the bowlers to get some time out in the middle, doing what they like to do, whether it's batting or bowling or whatever. So all this put together has put a lot of pressure on players. That's the point which I'm trying to make. And if you're playing well, if you're a Joe Root who's scoring 300s in a row in consecutive Test matches, you're fine. You're on a roll, absolutely. But if you're someone like Ajinkya Rahane who's struggling for form, there's no place where he can go back to and work out his differences and uh, come back and score a big 100 again, which he's capable of. He's a very fine batsman. So those are the things which stand out in this particular series, and it's a little disturbing that the scheduling of cricket has been completely taken over by the media companies. They are being dictated by how much time and what kind of cricket you want to show to your viewers, the cricket telecasts and all that, and that is affecting the quality of cricket, and it's affecting the quality of batsmanship as well. Because if you're watching a match on TV, you would want to see some action. You don't just want to see the batsman leaving the ball. So coming back to the point which Khanna sir made, one of the reasons why batting has suffered, why the technique has suffered, is because nowadays that's the way that you expected to bat. And you expected to bat that way because the TV channels want to show that kind of cricket to their viewers. Entertainment. It's no longer a game. It's no longer the game of cricket. It's a form of entertainment. So that's where a lot of things have happened, which have taken away from the technical finesse or the technical excellence of the kind of players, of the kind of the Sunil Gavaskars or the Gunda Vishwanaths that we had in the past. We don't have those kind of players nowadays because the players of today, they are expected to bat or play in a different way, and that's sad. And because it's killing the sport actually, if you ask me, because Test cricket, the red ball variety of cricket, still remains the actual cricket. The other cricket that you see, the white ball cricket, is entertainment. It's good to see. It's good to draw in crowds. It's good to make money. It's good to keep the game alive. It's good to give players and the support staff and the people associated with cricket a profession in cricket, a livelihood in cricket. But other than that, if you look at the technical excellence and the sheer ability to excel as a cricketer, that is slowly being lost, and that's something which is sad in my opinion. Because again, like Khanna sir, I belong to the old school of cricket where we were taught to play close to the body and play along the ground and not hit in the air and all those things. So I mean that's something which bothers me as an ex-cricketer, uh, as a coach as well. Coming back to the present match, if we talk about the present match, this series itself has been so fascinating, and I'm glad that it's turned out the way it has turned out. Because if you look at the first two Test matches, it seemed as if India would just run away with the series, and it would be a no contest. But then things suddenly turned around in the third Test match, and this Test match is amazingly, it's so well poised at this point of time. And the wicket is flat. The weather forecast for today at the Oval is supposed to be hot and sunny, probably one of the hottest days in England. And who knows? They're 77 for no loss. Their openers have got past that initial period, which was, that last 1 hour, 1.5 hours of batting yesterday. They got past that without any major mishaps, and they're batting well. They've done really well for themselves. So I would go so far as to say that I wouldn't dismiss their chances as bleak on this day. I know 291 runs on the last day of a Test match hasn't been done very, not very often at least. And the average fourth innings totals to win a Test match in England are somewhere in the region of 200 or so. So statistically, it's all against them. Statistically, it's absolutely right to say that chances for them winning is bleak. But then the way they've been batting, the way the wicket has been playing, the fact that our own bowlers have not been really able to swing the ball or move the ball or really cause any problems for the batsmen. The fact that we don't have Ravichandran Ashwin, uh, I think all that is actually playing into their favor at this point of time. Having said that, 291 runs on the last day uh, is a very, 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 very tough task, tough battle ahead of them. And the first session, as Khanna sir mentioned, is going to be absolutely crucial. If we can get a couple of quick wickets, get Joe Root in, and then try and get him out as quickly as possible. I think we definitely, if I have to make a forecast or make a prediction, which is something which I would not like to do in a game of cricket, but then I would say that if we can get a couple of quick wickets and get Joe Root in, and hopefully, by the law of averages, he is due for a failure. And if this innings turns out to be that failure, who knows? I mean, we definitely hold the upper hand. And as Khanna sir again mentioned, as an Indian, I would love to see India win this test match and go, one up in the series. Last match to play, and at Manchester, and I'm sure that would be great for us as well. And our record at the Oval has always been good. 1971, that was the match that we won. Bhagwat Chandrasekhar got 6 for 38 in the second innings. And that match which Khanna sir mentioned, where Sunil Gavaskar scored 221 memorable runs in the second innings, we were chasing 438 in that innings, and we got to 429 for 8 when the match was drawn. So our record at Oval has been great, and I'm sure this match will probably also go down in our cricketing history, in Indian cricketing history, as one of the memorable matches. So I'm very optimistic as far as Indian chances are concerned, but at the same time, I would not take the English batting lightly because of the conditions, because of the way their openers are batted, because of the fact that there is a absolutely dry day forecast for today, and so we need to be careful about that. We need to keep our options open. We need to attack in the beginning, definitely, but we also need to keep runs, not leak runs, stop runs. As of now, they have to score at slightly more than 3 runs an over, which is not, something which England is known for in a test match. But then, if we can bowl tightly, and if we can take a few quick wickets especially in the early overs, we can put them under a lot of pressure. So that's how the game stands, in my opinion, at this point of time.
Okay, thank you very much, Wing Commander Ajit Ghosh, for giving your views. And Wing Commander has mentioned very clearly that he also agree what Khanna ji has mentioned, that the commitment for the long format is lacking as far as the Indian team is concerned. And that's why he says he's not happy why the Indian teams, which is a very, very strong team, all very good players, are collapsing in a very, once it's fine according to him, but it's happening many times now, the way they are collapsing and they are scoring very low score rates. He says, because we are not playing very many long format games. And it says it's not only India, it is affecting the entire world about the low scoring thing. He mentioned also how the Rahane is struggling for his form, and how the Root is doing the way he's playing. He's blaming, which is a very common thing nowadays, but he's having a point, the blaming the media. And he says the media, because media wants such type of games where the more and more TRP can go up, and for that they require short form. They want the interest. They are not interested for the longest form, and that's why the game, according to him, this is killing a game. It's not a game. And he has also mentioned, as our Mr. Khanna has also mentioned, that leaving behind Ashwin is not a good thing, good decision, according to him. But he says, as far as the record is concerned of Oval, as far as the chances are, as far as the runs which they have to score, chances are more for India. But again, he has put a rider like Khanna ji, that you can't discount the role of Mr. Root. And if he will be not, although he says that as per the law, the chances, probability, the Root is not going to be successful this time. If it happens, then definitely it will be a memorable day for India. Otherwise, it will be in another way. Thank you very much, Wing Commander Ajit Ghosh, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my panelist who is going to give although I have not said that's a biased views, but we are Indians. So we have a soft corner for India, and it has to be. But I am now bringing the next panelist who is not from India, but having very much, one can say, eagle eye on the Indian or the cricket teams, and he has seen the cricket very, very closely. He is Mr. Grant Wade Jensen. Mr. Grant Wade Jensen is the provisional cricketer and coach, lives in Cape Town, South Africa. He is also the multiple Ironman finisher. He worked for 20 years as director of sports at both public and independent schools across South Africa. Currently, he is the CEO of the Takla Foundation, a non-profit company to assist underprivileged sports people and create a platform to gain access to support and opportunities. He has completed over 50 marathons from 1993 till now, including international marathons, Berlin, London, New York, Helsinki, Gold Coast, Brussels, and Athens. He has also completed 9 two oceans ultra marathons, 56 kilometers, and one comrades marathon, that is 90 kilometers. He has completed 2 full Ironman Africa championships and several other Ironman events from 2017 till date. He is a national level cricket coach, coached several teams over the years, including clubs, schools, and provincial academies. He has coached several sports over the years, such as hockey, water polo, football, rugby, track and field. He is currently coaching elite marathon runners through the Takla Foundation program. Welcome, Mr. Grant Wade Jensen, to our show. Mr. Grant, you have heard what our earlier panelist, Mr. Surendra Khanna and Wing Commander Arjit Ghosh has spoken, and both has given their views. And as I mentioned, we all are Indians. So definitely our views are a bit biased towards India, and we have to be, although Mr. Khanna as well as Wing Commander are very much forthright, and honestly, they have criticized what are the weaknesses even of the Indian team. But you being a person from a different country, neither from India nor from the England, so we would like to know now your views about this series in cricket, India versus England. Mr. Grant Wade Jensen, please.
Good day, Mr. Goel, and hello to all my fellow panelists.
How are you?
Good to see all of you. We're keeping sane here in South Africa, trying to keep our COVID numbers down. And of course, because our movement is very limited, so we're forced to sit and watch sport most of the time. So, and of course, that is not a problem in my life, because I obviously enjoy watching the cricket, and I've kept a close eye on what's been going on in England. The Test Championship was a bit of a disappointment. You know, South Africans have a special love for India. So when South Africa is not playing against India, then certainly India is the team we'd want to win. Yes, the current series is pretty much of a yo-yo affair. Very inconsistent performances that we are seeing, and I agree that the way the series are put together nowadays, it really doesn't give any time for the development of players. I think back in the day when Mr. Khanna was playing, there'd be months that the teams spend in a country playing county teams, playing 3-day games. And that's usually an opportunity for the younger players to, you know, feel their way with the legends like the Tendulkars of old and the Khannas, where, you know, they're not only playing the game and being out there in the middle, but they're spending time to get into the heads and feeding off the knowledge of all these experienced players. And whilst the IPL, I think, is doing great work in unearthing the talent, and giving a lot of the youngsters the confidence to go out there and perform on the international stage, when it comes to the actual doing it, it really is tough because cricket is one of the games where you really need to be out there, play lots of matches to get the experience and to build the confidence to do things when it matters. If you look at the current team, it really is a concern when you look at Yadav. He's been in and out of the Indian team. It's not where he's been always, partnering Bumrah or whatever. He's really been an in and out of the Test team player, and he's the most experienced Test. Well, in terms of caps, I have to say I'm quite surprised that he's played over 40 Test matches, and then you have Bumrah, who's really made a name for himself in the shortened version of the game with his just impeccable Yorkers that he bowls and this very unassuming runner. But he too has only played 23 Test matches, and then Thakur has played 3 Tests. Mohammad Siraj 8 Tests, and you expect to skittle England today. I think it's going to be hard work. I agree that today, if wickets fall early, then all of a sudden, then Jadeja becomes a key player, even on an easy wicket, because just the pressure that will build. And England themselves are a team that haven't really, apart from Joe Root and Burns, that's really been there all the time. They've really had guys that they've had to bring back. I mean, David Malan is in that side. There are a lot of the other players that have just lost form. Ollie Pope has really been struggling. He did well in South Africa when they were here, and well, good for him that he came good in the first innings. So it really it's. I don't know for how long we're going to be talking about the damage, or maybe not the damage that the shortened version of the game is creating for the sport of cricket. My big concern though is that with the shortened version being creating such a great appetite for spectators and sports lovers, we haven't really used this format as a way to grow the game globally. It really is still a very small knit 12 countries or so that dictates what happens in cricket, and I really feel that the ICC is missing out on an opportunity where especially some of our bigger countries, South Africa, India, England, really needs to do a lot more in bringing those smaller nations into the game. The shortened version is superb for it, because really if you have 1 or 2 key players, you can actually compete. So that is the one thing that I'd have liked to see starting to happen, is really growing that pool of international teams at the high level. In terms of Test cricket, I think it's probably, this is the way it's going to go. And us purists, we probably going to have to change our tune a little bit and accept that it is the way it is. The good thing, however, out of all of this, the India-England series is still superb to watch. It may be an up and down affair, but there's still interest. The game's going to, I mean, we're going into the 5th day, and everything to play for. There's excitement in what's going to happen. The previous Test was also a case of, if India could get a good start on the final day, it might have changed things. Unfortunately, India crumbled. But still, as I say, I think we may be a little bit too hard on the 5-day game and what's happening there. Yes, technically, maybe the players are not quite where we'd like to see them. I mean, fast bowlers, where are the days where you see fast bowlers bowling 12 overs on the trot? It just doesn't happen anymore. I mean, if a fast bowler is bowling a spell of more than 5 overs, you start wondering, oh, what's going on? Are the other bowlers injured? And yet 10, 15 years ago, you actually could see how a fast bowler was actually getting better as his spell went on, and you could see that he had a plan to work out a batsman, you know. So there was real craftiness in how things were being done. Today it's all about, we need that wicket now, and we need the bowler to fire in for 4 overs, and then we'll get someone else to come in and fire in for 4 overs. There may be some thinking in what's going on, but yeah, I'm not too convinced that we have the craft that's required, especially when it comes to the bowlers. Again, just coming back to the series, Ashwin out of the Indian team is just it just doesn't look like an Indian team without a high quality spinner like that. He really does so much. He offers so much. I think the last time we spoke about his the value that he adds to the Indian team. He just gives it the balance that it requires. And as good as Jadeja is, he just is not Ashwin, because to me Ashwin is a cricket, a spinning intellectual, so to speak. You just feel that this guy is busy crafting something. He's got so much skill and so much variation. Not something often said about a finger spinner, an off spinner, but really he is just that guy. So it's going to be quite interesting. I mean, you see even England never, their fast bowlers really toiled so far in the test. So yeah, it's gonna, today will be very interesting. I cannot wait to see it. I think Mr. Gosh made it quite clear that the record at the Oval is quite good for you. It probably is tilting in the favor of India. Batting on the last day, no matter what, it just becomes quite difficult. It's the psychological aspect of the game that comes in when you start losing wickets. So I like the opener, Hamid. To me, you talk about techniques. I think he just sort of reminds me of a classical test batsman. He's very compact, he's got patience, something you seldom see in the modern game. So he is someone to watch. The other day I was watching with my wife, and she wasn't sure which team was batting, because when he was batting, she thought it was India batting, and I had to explain the whole thing to her. But yeah, to me he is really, and his story is just amazing. The way he's come back after 5 years. I think as a 19-year-old he made an impact, and he was the next best thing for England, and then just lost his way a bit and couldn't score runs. So you sort of, just because you love the sport, you'd like to see someone like that do well. Of course, I'm a bit conflicted because I'd like to see India win this match. But yeah, the good thing is we still talk so fondly of this game of cricket. It really is something that keeps us going, keeps us ticking. Yeah, we look forward to the final session.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Grant Jensen, for giving your views. And he says, South Africa always wants India to win if South Africa is not playing against India. So he says we also want that India should win. So let's hope that your good wishes definitely will get that we will win today. But he mentioned few things. He says IPL is a good thing in one way, because the younger players, the new players are getting across, they're getting the experience, exposure with the senior players. He says, but he is not happy why this IPL or the short form of the format is not being popularized in other small countries. He says this is the right opportunity that apart from 10, 12 cricket player playing nations, this short format can be popularized in other countries. And he says South Africa, India, and England should take lead in this and try to involve. He also mentioned that England is also not that great this time, apart from Roots and Burns. Otherwise, they are also not technically or mentally sound. He also mentioned about the Yadav, why Umesh Yadav, who's such a in and out always, and he's very experienced otherwise, but very less test which he has played. He says that even he mentioned about the Ashwin, and he says Ashwin, why sitting out, he is also not understanding. He termed Ashwin as a spinning intellectual. And he also mentioned about the England opener Hamid. He says that he is very technically sound. The way he's playing, if he will continue to play, then it will be a trouble for India. Let's hope. But he says he wants that India should win. Thank you very much, Mr. Grant Jensen, for your wishes as well as your assessment of the correct assessment of the team, both the teams. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite my next panelist. Is Mr. Arun Lakshman. Mr. Arun Lakshman is the director of Center for Policy and Development Studies, a think tank based out of Chennai and Tiruvananthapuram, focusing on social, economic, political, and strategic studies. He was officer on special duty to Minister of State for Law and Justice in Vajpayee government. He is a freelance journalist and was former Kerala resident editor of The Pioneer. He worked with the New Indian Express as well as with Sea Voter Opinion Poll agency Rediff.com. Welcome, Mr. Arun Lakshman on our show. Mr. Arun Lakshman, you have heard all the legendary, those who are playing or who have played or who are coaching in the cricket. You being in media, and already there is an allegation against media which Wing Commander has put, and which is in one way it's fact also that the media is now dominating the game. We would like to know your views about the cricket, India versus England. Mr. Arun Lakshman, please. Please unmute.
Thank you, Mr. Lal Goel. I am really, really very happy to be in a panel where the legendary Indian cricketer Surinder Khanna, whom we adored during our school and college days, as a great cricketer, is with me. Mr. Ghosh, a wing commander Abhijit Ghosh, who's a Ranji Trophy player, a coach. Mr. Grant Jansen, a marathon runner, a cricketer. So I thank you all of you, and very good morning from my side. Actually, I do feel that the match is very evenly poised. I was watching the match yesterday, and as Mr. Jansen told, the Hamid is playing excellent cricket. He's having a sound technique, and he's playing good. But the main difference, as Mr. Ghosh has pointed out, will be Joe Root. How we will get Joe Root, and as Kannaji told precisely in the first session, how we are getting wickets. We may have to make one or two quick breakthroughs, and hopefully, as the law of averages, as Mr. Ghosh told, fails Joe Root, we will hopefully get him. If we get Joe Root, I think the gate is open. That may be the main difference between this match. But as Mr. Jansen said, if Hamid is going good, we can't see anything. And Oval is a place where we had fond memories. Like I also I was listening to that the Sunny Gavaskar's double century innings. So as through the series, the England series, the first match we played excellently well. The weather played spoil sport. Second match, nobody expected that England is going to come back after second match. And third match, we failed like a pack of cards. Our top order batsmen failed miserably, and we lost. But this match is evenly poised match. We played well, but I think that the top order batsman, technically there is a major technical flaw. Even for Virat Kohli, one of the best composed batsmen at present Indian team has, playing out of the offside. Offside is a weakness for the Indian team, and I think if they correct that, they cannot survive in this form of game, especially in England. England where the ball moves. England and New Zealand, as Kanaji told correctly, the ball is moving in and out. And if in and out ball is moving, we have to have compact techniques, play in the back foot. We are playing on the front foot because of the effect of the 2020 and limited over matches. But I think if Test cricket is giving results, crowd will definitely be watch Test cricket, and media cannot dictate terms then. If Test cricket is giving results, the Brisbane Test, what was the Brisbane Test? It was one of the best matches we ever seen. No? We came back, we won. And if Test cricket is giving results, in Oval yesterday we were seeing a packed stadium, maybe more than 20,000 people were watching cricket. So if that much viewership is there for the match, naturally the media rights and the media organizations, they will also follow it. The players need not adjust with this dictum from the media. They play themselves what they are, how they are going to play. They play the game. They go out in the middle. We were playing in the lower level cricket. When we go out in the middle, we play the cricket. We play our cricket. No, that's what that they should play. I think in this match, the first session will be very important. In the first session, if we get one or two quick breakthroughs and then take Joe route, then the match is poised for our way. But the England has also a very good chance, as Mr. Ghosh told. There is a possibility of England also. 291 is not a big target after the 2020 games and all. They can also chase that, and with a very informed batsman in Joe route, and if the law of averages don't fail him, he can be a thorn in the flesh for us, for our team. And as Mr. Jansen correctly pointed out, our fast bowlers, even our 4 fast bowlers, they are not having that much cricket experience, just match experience. And the Yorker side of Bumrah and all is not getting that much effective in this match. And Ashwin, I think, is again a major difference. If Ashwin is a spinning legend, is a spinning legend of our times. He's been improvising on his bowling. He has improved like anything, and he's also useful bat. We have seen him playing quite good innings. And I think Ashwin, but maybe the team management could not include him because of the poor form of a top order batsman. And Jadeja may be a better batsman. Jadeja has been a better batsman. That would have been the difference for the team management not to consider Ashwin, not because of his bowling prowess. He has proved that he's a good bowler. He's a good off spinner. But unfortunately, I think our management is not getting the liberty to include him in the team because of this poor form, the woefully poor form of our top order batsmen. They are good one day, they are not good other day. Even the Chandeshwar Pujara, whom we expected to play a stellar role, he is not performing that much. Of course, he had played some 50s and all, but that was not the innings we expected from him in a test match. Chandeshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane, both are fully out of form, and even KL Rahul is not playing as expected of him. Of course, we got Rohit got a century, and just like Surinder Kanaji pointed out correctly, somebody may have told in the years of our wicketkeeper Rishabh Pant to play a sensible innings, and he played a 50 yesterday. That is quite a sensible innings. If he has not played that innings, he would not be in the team, it seems, for the Manchester Test. I think if our team, our bowlers make a good breakthrough in the first session, 1 or 2 quick wickets, and if hopefully we get Joe root also, then there is a big possibility of Indian team winning, but it's a very big but. If it's a big if works for Joe Root or Hamid is going good. I have seen the matches today. Like Jensen pointed out, Hamid is doing good. If he plays well, and if we are not getting a breakthrough, I think they are poised. No, the first 1 hour 20 minutes game is gone already, and they have played quite sensible cricket. The sheen of the ball is gone. Maybe the first half an hour or 1 hour we get a quick breakthrough of an opening pack, then we can have a grab in the match. That's what I have to tell now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arun Lakshman. Being a journalist, you try to avoid the question about the media, which I will be asking next time. But what he said, one point which he has made very clearly about the media also in one way, he says, if there will be results in the test match, then the media can't dictate, because the viewers will increase automatically, and the media has to sacrifice their dictatorship type of things. And he has also assessed about everybody, and he has given all the views how the Pant even has mentioned about that, what Mr. Khanna said. If Pant would have not, he would have set outside next match. He also mentioned about all the players one by one. Paucity of time, so I would like to now go to my next round. My first question goes to Khanna ji. Ms. Khanna ji, don't you think that Indian players are not playing matches like Ranji Trophy, Dilip Trophy? The top players, they avoid for many reasons. They are either for schedules, or they are having, and everybody knows that they just do not want to play. If they will not play the Ranji trophies regularly, how they will get the practice or patience for that 5 days or 4 days to play, as you mentioned? Don't you think that is one of the basic reason? Because the Ranji trophy, there is no money, that money which we are talking about in IPL. What do you say about this, Khanna ji?
Well, in the last 2 years, also because of pandemic, uh, not many domestic cricket days matches are happening. If we see the last season, only T20s and one day were played because of the firework. And last 2 years, I can only say because of the pandemic. But otherwise, when you are playing in the Indian side, if you're in the T20s or one days regularly, you're a regular member of the side, then there is very little time to play in the domestic circuit. Only when you get dropped from the Indian team that you come back to the state cricket. And now let's not forget, when regular state cricket happens, anyone playing for any state in India in Ranji Trophy, Vijay Hazare and Mushtaq Ali, T20 and one day, that cricketer gets about 30 to 35 lakh of rupees. If you compare that amount with our days when we got 100 rupees for a match, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day match, when we won the Ranji Trophy, yesterday myself and Venkat Sundram, we were, together in a meeting with Vikas Singh, our friend lawyer. And he said when we won the Ranji Trophy in 79 against Karnataka in Bangalore, the first time Delhi won, we got for 5 days, somewhere to the extent of 1,000 rupees. So you can imagine nowadays cricketers are well compensated. That is the financial part. But the amount of cricket you get is far more. We used to get 4 matches in the league. If we were good enough to qualify for the knockouts, the second stage of the tournament, then pre-quarterfinal, quarterfinal, semi-final, final. It could be 7, 8 matches in a season, and then Tulip Trophy was there, another day's cricket tournament. But nowadays, because of the international calendar, there is very little time. Only when a cricketer gets dropped, then gets an opportunity to go back. In pandemic, I can only sympathize with Rehane and out of form batsmen of any country that there is no cricket to go back to. It's white ball cricket, right? And in that you're playing too many strokes. So it's very difficult. But as a professional, when it comes to getting phenomenal amounts for the job you do, if you're an actor, you're a singer, you have the opportunity of a retake. That is not there in our sport, unfortunately. If you're out, you come back to the pavilion. If you don't bowl a good spell, and especially because now bowlers, if I take up the bowling aspect, they are used to fielding for 1 hour, 15 minutes. The body gets used to that, and bowling 4 overs. If you're a spinner or you are a fast bowler. In our days, Madan Lal, Mohinder Amarnath, Kapil Dev, the legend, they used to say the more we bowl, the better we get. Especially with the old ball. And that is what Manoj Prabhakar, Sanjeev Sharma, and other bowlers, Srinath, Venkatesh Prasad, they all learned that, Zahir Khan. The more they bowled, the better they got. Ishant Sharma is one bowler in the last 8-10 years. He has bowled 20 overs a day most of the time, So you have to be mentally and physically very, very strong and fit to do that kind of a job. So if you're technically good as a batsman, like you know where your off stump is, and you also know to adjust according to the conditions, like in England, New Zealand, you should play more on the back foot, bit of a shuffle, you know where your off stump is, you know where shoulder is, then your right eye will tell your off stump, and you can leave the ball outside the off stump. I wish I get a chance to speak to one of our or these top players. It's very simple, minor adjustment. Finding a fault is very easy. Even you can do that. Even a panwala, chaiwala these days, they watch so much of cricket. They listen to so many experts. They also talk. I go for a pan to my panwala. He says, "Arey साहब, खन्ना साहब, ये क्या हो रहा है? ये क्या खेल रहा है? इतनी दूर खेल रहा है कोहली." गावस्कर साहब भी कह रहे थे. Fine. But who will tell him to come on the back foot? That is the batting coach and the chief coach who is sitting there with him. Take him to the nets, bowl him short balls, don't go. Even yesterday, Kohli got out to Moeen Ali. That ball he could have easily played on the back foot. He played over forward and straighter one went to slips. And he was batting on 44. When you're seeing the ball so well, it was a chance for Virat Kohli to get a big 100. And that's why he banged his hand on the door of the dressing room, because he knew he missed that opportunity in this series. In Manchester, the ball will swing again. This was a wicket. Rohit Sharma made sure he got a big 100. So all those media which was criticizing him, and even the captain, coach, and other people who were not making him bat in opening and playing in test matches, that's a big 100. And from the batsman point of view, Indian, in this series, Virat Kohli has been losing the toss. Our batting has been under pressure, put into bat. Anderson chose to play only test cricket. He doesn't play T20s. Joe Root, he plays one day and test match. He doesn't play T20. How many of Indians will do that? Lose out on that kind of money. It's not
Yes.
that Root can't pick a team and play T20. He's the England captain, Lal Sahab.
Yes.
And captain dominates.
Yes.
You got to know, if you want to last longer and be consistent and also be remembered as one of the finest, then you have to sacrifice on certain things. Anderson bowled 8-9 overs at a trot. And this ball today perspective is 30-35 overs old. Duke ball doesn't do much. So batting Hamid and Burns will make life difficult for us. You've seen how Shardul Thakur started hitting the ball, our batsmen were struggling. That's because this Duke ball doesn't do anything later on. If you have the heart and the positivity in you, and you can strike the ball, and with 3 slips, short leg, and a gully, you have so much of open ground. So in bowling, कि 90 ओवर की फील्डिंग इंजरीज हो जाती हैं क्योंकि वी आर यूज्ड टू 20 ओवर्स एंड वन डे उसमें 10 ओवर्स करना है, यू जस्ट बॉलिंग 10 ओवर्स एंड 3 hours fielding. Here 6 hours every day.
Yes.
9 overs fielding, 20, 30, 40 overs to bowl. Our people get injured.
Yes, Khannaji. Thank you very much,
So
Khannaji.
there are a lot of factors.
Yeah, I
I said
understand.
I must batting and all this. And
Yes.
in pandemic, it has been really difficult.
Yes, yes.
The players for
Yes.
doing their best, but they could have played Ashwin. There is no excuse for that.
Oh.
And also promoting Jadeja, I don't agree with it.
Okay.
Vice captain of the team.
Khannaji.
Batting at his number or he goes out.
Okay. Thank you, Khannaji, because
Jadeja in India, you can send him.
Okay.
in
Okay.
Indian conditions.
Thank you very much, Khannaji. Time is short, so I have to just say. Now my question goes to Wing Commander. Very, very short answer, because 30 seconds I can give. What you talk, we are talking about the test match. Now England has started playing this 100-ball match, which is concluded just now. What you say about that? If one side we are even shorter form of T20, what you say, Wing Commander? 30 seconds, please.
I would just say what I said earlier, that it's the media which is dominating what kind of cricket we play nowadays. So if they say that we have to play 100 balls, we have to play 100 balls.
I'll add, the cricket boards are providing what the people want.
Absolutely. So it
Like
is
we go for
entertainment now.
McDonald's,
It is
we
no
go
longer
for
a
quick
game.
food, quick
Yeah.
snacks. That is the young generation is asking for.
Yeah.
So in the stadium,
It's
people
no
want to
longer the
sit
game
over
of
and
cricket, but
picture.
it's the entertainment of cricket. That is what
Oh,
it has become.
okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Grant Jensen, you have mentioned that IPL is giving benefit to India. But the views which are coming is, yes, it is giving advantage because the new players are coming. But the senior players are losing their grip is as far as the test match is concerned. Short answer, 30 seconds. What you say?
Yeah, we're going to be sitting here for years and years about the shortened version and the techniques that go and so on. I think the older players, well, your Pujaras and that's quality that we're talking. I love the pure test batsman, and he's one of them. So they'll be there. I think they'll be there regardless of what if there is even a shortened version of the 100. Those top players will be there because it would be people like us trying to encourage players that is the pure format, the 5-day test matches. There'll always be those people around, I think, that would be pushing that agenda. The numbers may be much less pushing that agenda, but there will be us. And I think that's why Test cricket will survive.
Okay, thank you very much. And my last question goes to Mr. Arun Lakshman. Mr. Arun Lakshman, do you think that India should have a separate team for the test matches, which will be playing the round the year only for test matches, in the test matches, a long format, and let the ODI or the T20 or now 100 format should be by the separate team? What do you say about this, Mr. Arun Lakshman? 15 seconds only, please.
But I don't think that there should be a separate team. There can be a good number of players playing in a test side, and maybe a little. It can be a mix, no? There
Okay.
may not be a separate.
Okay, thank you very much. So, viewers, we have seen today the last day of four tests. Very, very critical day, and we all expect, and even our South African friend also says that South Africa wants that India should win if they are not playing against us. So today they are not playing against us, India versus England. So we all pray that India should win. You have seen all the critical things, what they have mentioned very, very clearly. But today is the day. We are all praying that India should win, and we must get 1 or 2 or 3 wickets in the opening session, which is very much required. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, as well as was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endure in the evening program, where we bring one chief guest who is inspirational for the youth. And today my chief guest is Professor Dr. Jolie Jose, Associate Professor, MET School of Communication, MET University, Noida. So the program Kal Aaj aur Kal Lal Goel ke sang at 4:30 p.m. Please tune in and listen what she says, how her life journey is so inspirational for the youth. Thank you very much, Surinder Khanna ji. As usual, such a brilliantly you have given the explanation. And thank you very much, Wing Commander Arjit Ghosh. Thank you very much, Mr. Grant Jensen. Although it's very early, but it's so kind of you that you have joined. And thank you very much, Mr. Arun Lakshman, for giving your views. Very good views as far as cricket is concerned. But all our hopes are that India should win. And all the viewers, thank you very much. And we pray that today is the day for India.